EA Sports just out of nowhere revealed some pretty big news regarding Madden 24. And they also announced that they're going to be offering a pretty hefty discount to those affected by the franchise mode issues this year. Now, this is a pretty unnormal thing for EA Sports to do. Just like a couple of years ago when they announced franchise mode changes a year in advance. These are things that EA does not typically do, but because of the constant mess ups as it pertains to franchise mode, they've kind of had to do this a little bit earlier a few times over the last few years to kind of calm people down because, quite frankly, people are getting frustrated. Now, we're going to dive into the info they revealed, the discounts, and more, but if you're new to the channel and you don't want to miss out on any of the other Madden 24 news that we're going to be getting pretty soon, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on so you never miss any of these important videos. Late yesterday afternoon, EA sent out an email to franchise mode players who were affected by the corrupted franchise issue that saw plenty of people lose their leagues. Now, if you didn't get one of these emails and your league was affected, I'll tell you a little bit later in the video the steps you can take to hopefully get one yourself. But late yesterday, a bunch of people were hitting me up on Twitter showing me this email from EA Sports, and at first, I honestly didn't believe it because the stuff I was reading just didn't sound like something that EA would typically say or do, but after checking and after seeing a ton of other people posting about it, this is very true. The email reads, "Dear franchise fans, our goal is to provide more information on the franchise cloud save issue from 12/28 and a timeline of next steps. Status: on 12/30, we provided an update about franchise cloud save data where some leagues became corrupted during a 10-hour window on December 28th. Our teams quickly began investigating and working to recover leagues. We've finished our root cause analysis and determined the issue impacted roughly 2% of the total number of existing leagues. However, for those leagues who accessed during the incident window, the majority resulted in an unrecoverable state. Today, the team restored a limited number of franchise saves via a backup. Unfortunately, those are all the available leagues that can be restored. For players looking to restart their league, a Week 17 Play Now Live roster went live last week with another wildcard update available now as a starting point. For more information on the issue and next steps, here is Madden NFL executive producer Sean Grady. Most importantly, we want to apologize for the issue. We know how important your franchises are and feel your frustration around this issue. We deeply appreciate your loyalty to Madden and wanted to share some additional information and steps taken to ensure it never happens again. The issue that recurred was a result of a highly unlikely set of combined circumstances leading to file server storage reaching max capacity, unutilized legacy code corrupting accessed leagues, while at the same time process errors led to almost all available backups getting deleted in an attempt to correct the original problem. Our team has done a full root cause analysis with technical experts to ensure infrastructure protocols, auto-scaling server systems, and legacy code are updated to prevent this uncommon event from ever happening again. Simply put, this should not have happened. While there is no making up for lost time, we would like to demonstrate our commitment to you. First, we want to share work we're accelerating to give our loyal franchise commissioners more control over their franchises. We've looked at what type of tools would allow commissioners to customize leagues, setting them up in unique and novel ways for their own and others' enjoyment. Design work has begun on a commissioner tools feature set for future Madden titles. We intend to share more details on the commissioner tool features and a timeline in the coming months. Additionally, all impacted franchise players will receive an invite for the access to the Madden NFL 24 closed beta. The invite is good for registration to access the closed beta on PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X/S consoles only. Finally, for all impacted franchise players who lost progress due to this issue, you'll receive a 50% off discount on Madden NFL 24. Now, this is all very interesting stuff here. First off, it's good that they're actually taking more accountability for it, although that alone does not make up for the problems, but it's always nice to see accountability. Now, something I've said in previous videos and for years since the servers have kind of gradually seemed to get worse is it seems like they need to invest more in the infrastructure and deal with some of the legacy issues with this game. Now, of course, a lot of us want the game to be rebuilt. That's probably the best way to deal with all of the legacy code issues, but it's simply not going to happen as the NFL wants a new game out every year and EA is going to continue to pump the game out every year. But this year they took kind of a different approach with gameplay, and while while Madden's gameplay is still far away from where it should be, they did fix a good number of legacy issues with gameplay this year by giving it more focus and attention. So if they're going to do that with the rest of the game, that's definitely a good thing. It's not the optimal way to go about it in my opinion, but it's still something that could make for a better game potentially. Hearing that they're going to invest in the infrastructure to make sure these things don't happen again is a good thing. However, we've heard a lot of things from EA over the years, and a lot of times things don't wind up coming true. Maybe in theory it's what they would like to come true and what they're aiming for, but we continue to see problems. So until we see a year of Madden that works even decently, we can't really take their word for it. It's good to hear, but we have to wait and see because we've just been dealing with more and more issues every year lately. The commissioner tools is definitely a good thing we like to hear about. Again, they usually don't let us in on what they're working on for future titles this early. They usually make us wait a lot closer to release, or we have to wait at least a couple months from now to start hearing some leaks from other people. But again, when you frustrate your community and you have all these issues, you kind of owe it to them to at least let them know what you're working on. So a commissioner tool feature set that's going to allow commissioners to customize leagues in unique and novel ways is something people have been asking for a long time. It's one of the things that NBA 2K excels at. You can get so creative with the leagues. It's literally a sandbox. You can bring back so many old teams, old players, old logos, stadiums, all kinds of stuff. So if they're going to work on anything even close to that for Madden, that's definitely good, and I would assume that that would be something that can also be used for offline franchises as well. But it's good to hear that they're working on customization because that is one of the top issues with Madden and has been for a decade. Outside of the legacy issues, some of the gameplay problems, customization has always been the biggest thing. It's very limited in what you can do, both in franchise and just in the game in general. There's not even a creative team in the game, so potentially that is something that could be coming back, which I think is going to come back, especially since it's rumored to be in the NCAA game that's coming out soon. If they're building a new creative team for NCAA, there's a good chance they're going to make that usable for Madden as well. Now, in terms of the closed beta, that's another pretty decent perk simply because it's not easy to get access to the closed beta, because while they do a lot of giveaways for it, you might have about 50,000 people that really want to get their hands on the beta, and at the end of the day, maybe only like 4,000 to 5,000 people actually get access. So to have guaranteed access to the beta where you're able to provide feedback is a decent perk. It's not enough on its own, but it's definitely a nice thing that they can kind of throw out to people, because every year, whether you love or hate the game, everybody wants the closed beta for multiple reasons. Number one, you get to see the game early, you get to leave your own personal feedback, but number three, the beta is usually pretty close to the final product, so it's a way for you to be able to test the game out early for free without having to pay for it. And for franchise mode fans that have been affected over the years, and more so this year, that's a pretty decent perk because you can kind of play test the game a couple months early, and if it's nowhere near what you want it to be, then you don't even have to worry about contemplating spending your money on it. Now, lastly, giving a 50% off discount for Madden 24 I think is another decent gesture, and I asked people on Twitter and also read replies to other posts on Twitter to kind of gauge how people felt about this, and surprisingly, a lot of people seemed pretty happy with what EA was offering as kind of a makeup for the franchise mode issues, but there were also a significant amount of other people that said this isn't enough because I wasted money on the last game that didn't work, and now you're just offering me the next game for half off. But who's to say the new game won't have a lot of issues as well? And that's all very valid feedback. I think whichever side you fall on, you're right. If you feel like this makes up for your experience, then it does. If you feel like it's not enough for what you went through, then it's not enough. I saw some people saying they should issue refunds, and to be honest, I don't know the technicalities of how that works, just because of the fact that you don't buy the game directly from EA. You buy it from Sony or Microsoft or a physical store like GameStop or Walmart. So technically, if you would want a refund, you would have to go through those places where you purchased it. But as most of us know, getting refunds for video games is a very hard thing to do. Now, I have seen quite a lot of people get refunds if they bought the game digitally from Sony or Microsoft. It's probably not the easiest process. I'm sure you got to jump through a few hoops because no one's just going to refund you your money because you say, hey, the game doesn't work. You're going to have to fight with them a little bit. But if you bought a physical copy, I mean, it's next to impossible to get a refund in that scenario. But I don't know how EA could issue refunds. I don't know if this is something that's been done before with other companies, because just technically you didn't give them your money. You gave it to somebody else. So I really think the next best thing would have been just offering Madden 24 completely free to everybody that was affected, because then it just kind of balances out. It's like a wash at that point. Okay, you wasted money on 23, but at least you get to have the next game completely free. And seeing how many free codes they throw out every year at the beginning of the year anyway, and the fact that the game usually is $20, $30 off a few months later during holiday season, I don't think it really would have hurt them that much just to offer the game free to the people that were affected. affected, because if it's only 2% of all leagues, I think in total, it's probably not a crazy amount of individual people that were affected, because also a lot of people have multiple leagues. So if one person has 3 or 4 leagues, that's one person affected with multiple leagues, and a lot of people kind of fall under that umbrella. So I think probably their best course of action would have been doing what they did and just offering 24 for free, so it was kind of just a wash. But I do still think access to the beta and 50% off is a decent makeup. It's definitely something we've really never seen EA do before, and I'm honestly surprised that they even did that. Now, if you didn't get one of these emails, I'm going to leave a couple links below in the pinned comment. Make sure that you have a EA account created. Most of you should. Make sure the email is updated because you might have changed your email. Make sure that it is linked to your Xbox or PlayStation Madden account. And also, I'm going to leave the MUT Rewards link below. Even if you don't play MUT, sign up for a MUT Rewards account, because what I think is the best course of action is you want to give EA as many access points to you as possible. If you have your EA account and your MUT Rewards account linked to your Xbox or PlayStation account that you play Madden on, you have a better chance of getting these emails when the beta comes out, when you have issues like this, when they just send out emails about important things that you need to know about. Even if you don't play MUT, you don't need to worry about it, but it's just good to have the account because it's another way for EA to be able to access you so that you don't miss out on emails like this. And if you go update those accounts and you didn't get an email, there's a good chance that you will get one. And if you do that and you still didn't get one, then you got to hit up EA Help. And I know that that's a pain because EA Help is not very helpful most of the time, but if you kind of talk to them and explain what happened, that will give you a better chance of getting this email if you didn't get one, because anybody affected by this should be able to get these perks that they're offering. So make sure everything is updated and reach out to EA Help if need be to give yourself a better chance at getting this email so that you can get the game half off and you can get access to the beta to try it out. Now, a little bit earlier in this video, I mentioned the new NCAA game that's going to be coming out soon. If you want to know more about that, make sure you check this video out right here on the screen.